Boy, getting stopped is so helpful. Like, going out and losing a fight is a really bad thing. Going out there and getting stomped out quickly, boy, can that be helpful. I remember when Joanna Champion, which was a surprise, she got stopped by Rose. So they rematched it. You couldn't even believe what you're seeing, so you went ahead and rematched it. And Joanna was just as big of a favorite going to the second one. I remember when Wei Lee got kicked in the mouth before ever touching, getting to go back to Rose, like 11 seconds in, but never touched her. Never so much as got kicked in the face and went down. They rematched it. Oh, by the way, Wei Lee was a favorite going to the first one. She was just as big of a favorite going to the second one. There's something about getting stomped out like that that helps you. Anderson Silva got manhandled by Chris Weidman. That is no knock to my old foe. He was manhandled. Stopped in the second round, but the first round was as bad of a round as you've ever seen in title fight history. But there was a weird moment where Anderson had put his hands down when Weidman backfisted him and knocked him out, to the point that the whole thing went away. 7.5 minutes in, 7.5 minutes of a beating. But none of it was remembered. It was only remembered that Anderson's hands were down when he got knocked out. So they rematched it. And wouldn't you know, Anderson was a 2.5-1 favorite in the rematch, exact same as he was in the first match. There's just something about it where getting stopped doesn't put praise on your opponent. It protects you. It helps you. That piece of the psychology will never go away. Again, I guarantee if you went back and you asked Buster Douglas, who's one half of the biggest upset in all of sports history, you'll always hear announcers, this is one of the biggest. The biggest upset in sports history is the night that Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson in the 9th round in a fight in Japan. But if you could go back and ask Buster right now, you've got a magic wand. Buster, you're going to beat him. We're going to go to a decision. It's going to be unanimous. Everybody's going to see you outbox Mike Tyson. Or we'll keep it the way it is now, which is you were getting thumped. You caught him with one hand and knocked him out. What do you want to do? He would give that knockout up. As much as they want to tell you, and the pundits and the promoters want to tell you how important the finish is, and the fans say we want to see a finish. When you see a finish, your eyes instantly play a trick on you. And there's something about that. Joe Rogan was speaking about Conor McGregor just today. And he was talking about the fact of Conor returning after not only years off, but of a very serious injury. And Joe said, if anybody can do it, it's him. And that was a very baffling statement by Joe to make. To the point that I reread it, and to this, I still, as I'm talking to you guys, think that it was wrote wrong. I don't think Joe would have said it. If anyone could do it, it's him. I don't think he said it. To say something like that, you would have to have a history of doing something like that. Give you a great example. Randy Couture had returned from retirement. But the first time that he returned to win a world championship. So then when he takes a break and he's going to return again and he wins another championship, the third time is when people are saying, well, he's 47 years old, but if anybody can do it, it's Randy Couture. That would be true. Or you look at what this quarterback, this Brady kid, Tom Brady, playing quarterback out there with the Buccaneers. Before that with the Patriots. But he retired. They hold a parade for him, and then he comes back. He retires, and he comes back, and it cost him his marriage. It cost him everything, but he came back, and people understood, well, if anybody could do it, we'd say that right now if Brady announced he was going to come back. Well, if anybody could do it, it'd be him because he's demonstrated it before. That's why it's a very weird comment that I'm not confident was relayed to me correctly. Joe Rogan said, if anybody could do it, it's Conor McGregor. Why? Why would it be Conor McGregor? What part of what you see within Conor McGregor lends you to believe he can flip a script? And the number one thing in people's minds is the way that fight got stopped. You know for sure, at least probability-wise, that is not going to happen again, right? You would be more likely by the numbers to be struck by lightning or to win the lottery than to have a compound fracture on the same leg, but only against Dustin Poirier in the second round. We're really confident that isn't going to happen again. Okay, fine. How does that then lead you to believe McGregor's going to win? Let's take a look at that fight. Much like we should have taken a look at the fight of Chris Weidman versus Anderson Silva, part 1. It was 7.5 minutes, but it was 7.5 minutes of Weidman winning. In the McGregor-Poirier fight, there was one completed round. They were in the second round, so there was one completed round. So let's go see who won that round. Dustin Poirier did. One thing about Conor McGregor is he is a front runner. It's been the story of his career. He will beat you up early, but if you can keep him around, your chances to close him out go up. Should this go to a decision, it greatly favors you. Should it go into a fourth or fifth round, it greatly favors the opponent. So when you have a guy that's a front runner that brings a storm, looks around, and generally nobody's left standing, when you have a front runner who lost the first round, everything about his career historically says it gets worse as the night goes on. It doesn't get better. And then you have the injury. And this is before you have the photographs and the bought a bar and alcohol sponsors and some of the extracurriculars. Before you have any of those things, I just think that it's a very baffling statement. If anybody could do it, it's him. Why? Why? It's him against who? Michael Chandler, as we're told, who's been active, who's been busy, who goes through camps, who lives the right lifestyle, has gone through the processes, has done everything that he said he would do, never messed with weight, never messed opponent, never messed with absolutely anything. A guy not doing it, and Conor McGregor is likely to heal, get better, and then surpass that. I mean, let's just take Chandler out of it. Let's just go back to Poirier. If he was to rematch Poirier, he was stopped in their second fight. He was stopped in the third fight. There was one completed round in the third fight. He didn't win that. By the numbers, things get worse. That's just by the numbers. You could bring up Conor's entire career. You could put it on a giant whiteboard behind me. It will be very clear, the chart and the graphic. First round, second round, third round, fifth round. I don't give Conor a hard time. I don't give him a hard time at all. I think I'm just more interested in the point that allegedly Joe made. Anybody could do it, it's Conor, but why? What is it that he has that other guys don't have? Why him? Why would it be him? What have you seen historically speaking? What medicine? What doctors? What things? Conor may's got a lot of money and he's under the radar, and he's off in Ireland and he's got houses other places so he can hide out and play the game in between. Like, exactly what are we saying? The article said, moreover, by Joe Rogan, I've seen him spar. He looks like a savage. I agree with that. I fully agree with that assessment. Like, from an athletic standpoint, I have not seen any reductions in Conor McGregor. But if you want to see the line change, right? To get something different, you have to do something different. If you want to see the line change and you want to see meaningful life blown into the idea that Conor McGregor's return is going to be successful, all you have to do with Conor is what you're going to do with every other fighter on the card that night. Make their fight 3 rounds. The human body is not made to do 5 rounds. It's not made for that. That is where every idea of drugs and cheating comes from that. It's just like the Tour de France. You want to write all those cyclists that have ever placed or on all these drugs? Go look at what they do as they're riding those bikes through the Alps. The human body's not made to do that. So you have to take the body to a superhuman level. I'm only suggesting for you. Conor wants to change his chances. He wants the odds. He wants to flip everything. He can fight anybody on that roster. But the idea, particularly when the numbers don't lie, and that he's going to take 3 years off and return from an injury and be able to enter the 5-round club, of all the fighters you've ever seen fight, of the 763 under contract right now, 763 are under contract. 63 of them will ever be asked in their entire career to even do 5 rounds. They will only have the invite. 63. The other 700, just move them out of the way. Of the 63 that are even asked at any point in their career to do it, 12 will enter the 5-round club. It's extremely rare to be offered a fight that's either a main event or a title fight anywhere in your career. And of the people that are, if you saw how small that number is of somebody that actually went out there and survived and did it for 25 minutes, I think that your jaw would drop, but I think that you would see my point. And if you're talking about bringing somebody back from a layoff, It wouldn't matter what he did in between. It wouldn't matter if they were doing triathlons in between. You will never get that feeling. You'll never get that same energy. And the only thing, if you want a competitive chance, that you need to argue for is you need to argue that you're going to do what everybody else that night's going to do. You're going to fight another man, the best of your ability, for up to 15 minutes.